Hello and welcome. I'm Brett Connor.
And I'm Royce Connor, and this is
The Best We Can Do.
Here's the best we can do on today's episode. Folks, I'll apologize now because we are going to start with a story from Brett. Now, if you know Brett, you know that storytelling is not something that comes easily to him.
It comes very easily to me, Royce.
As you can see, he thinks it's something that comes easily to him. Instead, what you will find is he tells a tale about the same pace as a glacier. He can be a bit on the long-winded side, but he has promised me that today's story he is going to focus in and just tell the facts and keep it as short as possible. Folks, you can absolutely go take a restroom break. You can go fix your favorite meal. He'll still be talking when you're done, I'm sure, but he's promised that this story, which is going to be relevant to today's topic, is going to enlighten all of us.
Okay, I feel I need to defend myself, Royce.
Oh,
Okay,
good.
First of all, my storytelling skills are amazing. Second of all, just because you do not have the patience or the capacity to keep up with my words, that's your problem. It's not mine.
I don't have the lifespan to keep up with your words.
That's true.
No. Didn't think of it that way, but still, merciful death take me. The details, the overt details. Oh, God.
It's true. I have made a commitment to do the short version of this story.
Well, let's get into it, folks, because this is ultimately a story about all of us.
It's true. So I feel I want to preface the story a little bit by saying, like, something happened to me. I'm going to tell the story of this experience. And it was a very positive experience. But it made me think this is something I want to talk about with you, Royce.
I'm ready to hear about it. I notice you haven't started the story yet, which is exactly what I told people would happen.
Well, technically, this is the preamble to the story, not the actual story.
Oh, good. The 90-minute preamble and not the 76-hour story. Sorry, my mistake.
Once again, focus, Royce, focus. Here we go. Okay. I was in Sullivan County, Pennsylvania, and if anyone out there has never been to Sullivan County, you are missing out. It is a beautiful part of the world.
It's gorgeous.
Absolutely gorgeous, but it is extremely, extremely rural. This is a place, there is one stoplight in the entire county. So just picture this, the most remote, beautiful, yes, but very, very remote part of America.
Okay.
Which is the part of America you and I grew up in.
Yep.
I went to a bar with my dad. Now, it wasn't just a regular bar. It was an American Legion in the capital of Sullivan County called Dushore. And I walked in there, and I have to say, it's a small space. It's this U-shaped bar, so everyone's looking at each other. And I walked in there, and instantly, even though these are people I grew up with, even though these are people who I fundamentally think I like, my spidey senses went up.
Oh, in my mind, it would be like one of those Western movies where someone walks into the bar and all of the talking comes to an immediate stop.
Right.
And everyone looks at the person who just walked in. Who's that stranger?
Yeah, we don't like your kind around here. And just, it's how I felt. No one said anything. No one did anything. No one looked at me. But we just walked in and sat down. And we started talking. So my dad and I are talking. And because it's a small bar, everyone can hear everything we're saying. And I'm kind of listening to what I'm saying, thinking, I'm saying things like I refer to my husband. I refer to San Francisco. Like these are big parts of my life. And everyone around me is listening to it. Mm-hmm. They can't help it. They're not necessarily listening, like glaring at me listening, but everybody can hear what everybody's saying.
Okay.
So things start to happen.
Oh, boy.
The first thing that happens is the guy sitting next to me, again, total stranger, buys everybody at the bar a round of drinks.
Again, socialism.
Total stranger, didn't know him. He didn't even tell people he was doing it. And then this guy comes up to me, and the guy who comes up to us, he'd been there for a while. He'd had a few, no question about it. There was a sense that he was the American Legion's Norm from Cheers. Like he's just always there.
Sounds like he was Cliff and Norm.
He was off a cliff, I'll say that.
Oh, gosh. What did you think was going to happen when he came over?
I thought, oh boy, here we go. He comes up, and he had heard what we were saying, and he just starts warmly like singing this song about California that he loved from the Gatlin Brothers, and he's telling us stories about his life, and we're just having a laugh. We have a total ball. The guy was awesome. He was warm. He was funny. He may have been a little drunk. Fine, I don't care. We just had a couple drinks. We were doing a good time. He just came and just was the best. And on his way out the door, he put some money in the jukebox, again, unbeknownst to us. And the music that he plays was the Gatlin Brothers song that he had been singing to us. And he just plays it And as he's walking out the door, he turns back and looks at me. I look at him, and we just share this huge smile, this great warm moment, and out the door he goes. And at that moment, I had this thought, and it's this thought that I want to talk about with you, Royce.
We've finally made it to the thought, everyone. Wake up, wake up.
All right, come back from the bathroom, everyone. Here comes the whole point of what we're here to talk about. The thought I had was, this is the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Why have we been almost programmed to feel like, oh, well, these are not my people. This is not my space. This is not my crowd. This is not where I belong.
This is a place where I am not safe.
Yeah, I'm not safe. I'm not welcome. Everybody heard everything. They heard everything about me. They not only did they just not care, they were actively embraced it.
They are buying drinks for Ivy League gays and playing the Gatlin Brothers.
Right, sorry, these West Coast elites sitting here in Dew Shore, Pennsylvania, and we are drinking lagers, having laughs, and we just had a great time together. And that's it. That's the whole story. That's all of it. The story was Dad and I walk into a bar and have a great time. And yet, I found it profoundly moving.
I find it profoundly moving that you kept the story to about 5 minutes.
Let's keep this podcast moving, okay? What I wanted to talk about was, how did this happen? Why did we sort of allow this to happen? How did we go from being who we are and what I believe we are people who are good to each other, who do take care of each other, who do good things for each other, and how do we become convinced that we are something other than that?
Oh yeah, that's the main story of every novel I've ever read. I remember how nice all the Lord of the Flies boys are to each other after the plane crashes. It's a lot of kumbaya and campfires, isn't it?
Look, first of all, that is fiction. That is not reality, and it makes for a great book. But that's not how people really are. The only people I meet everywhere I go are good, decent people who just want to be good and decent to each other.
There is certainly no lack of wonderful people out there doing wonderful things. I do think there's a certain privilege that comes with saying, nothing but wonderful things have ever happened to me. I think there are a lot of people out there who have had wildly different experiences than you had in Dew Shore that day.
Maybe, but that's also not exactly what I said. What I said was, I think deep down inside, people do want to be good to each other. And I have had plenty of experience of people doing bad things to me, and I've sure have done bad things to other people, but that's not who they are. It's not who I am. It's not the way we normally act. Our day-to-day lives, I think, are positive and good, and that somehow we are told that we're not. At least the other half, those other people, they're not. You are, you're fine. But they, however, no. And it's just not true.
My experience is more that people want to be good to and for themselves. Not so much people want to be good to and for the community or people in general. People embrace the golden rule, which I have never been a fan of. The golden rule is far too simple. Treat others the way you want to be treated, which I find lazy, selfish thinking.
Tell me about that, Royce.
It's based on a self-centered assumption that people want to be treated the way you want to be treated, that people like to be treated the way you like to be treated. So many interpersonal conflicts stem from the fact that people, in fact, don't want to be treated the way you like to be treated. What is universally true is that people want to be treated the way they like to be treated, which is not easy to do because then you actually have to know the person. You have to have this empathy for them. You have to, God forbid, care about the other person enough to know how they like to be treated and therefore be comfortable with the idea that how they like to be treated is not the way you like to be treated, and both are okay.
Got it. Okay, that makes much more sense to me the way you explained it. Thank you. I will just counter by saying I do think that while there are definitely differences between specific people would like to specifically be treated, in general, people want to be treated well.
Yeah, it's true, but my well might not be your well. In fact, my well is almost certainly not your well.
Absolutely. But at least everybody's playing in the same field.
We are playing in the same field with the Gatlin Brothers. I feel a connection.
Congratulations. I'm glad you have a connection to the Gatlin Brothers, which are actually a very good band, and I recommend you go listen to them.
Do they have money? Maybe we can get money from them. Gatlin Brothers, email us at hello@thebestwecando.com.
Yes. Connor Brothers brought to you by the Gatlin Brothers.
Sponsorship,
right.
Finally.
All the gold in California, which are the lyrics to that song. Bring it our way.
I'm looking forward to never listening to that song. Sorry, Gatlin Brothers.
So can we at least agree, Royce, that people do indeed want to be good to each other, even if they might miss the mark on what the other person's good might be?
I think I'm more likely to agree that people want to be good to themselves. And if that ends up being good for other people, fine, but not required.
Fair enough.
I think the more important point you're making is that you made a variety of assumptions because you left this bubble of the Bay Area and you went back into our home bubble of conservative small town Pennsylvania, and you had all these assumptions about what that must mean, especially in a place like a bar, and your assumptions ended up being wrong, that you entered a very different bubble, in fact, the bubble that we grew up in, and found it to be a delightful, loving experience.
Absolutely.
That.
And I would say those assumptions were not assumptions I was born with. These are the people I grew up with. I like those people. How did I get all of this negative stuff internalized?
We have a gift that I find few people do, and it's the gift of bubbles. We are two of the few people I know who live today as adults in a very different bubble than the one we grew up in. Most people live in a version of the bubble they were born into. We don't. We live in a very different bubble, and yet so many people who are dear to us are in the bubble we grew up in. And this means we have this wonderful gift where the idea of loving someone who sees the world very differently than you do is wonderful and is embraced. I love that part about me, and I love that part about you. We love all kinds of people who see the world differently than we do, and we're all better for it.
I completely agree. And we see that in our families. We see that in our friends. We have a pretty broad array of ideas around the Thanksgiving table, which is true. And that comes with conflict, and it can come with some hurt feelings. I've certainly had my feelings hurt by people who I love dearly. That's not their fault.
Drink more wine. It helps.
That goes a long way. Even when someone says something that I might find off base, even hurtful, that's not coming from a place of hate and anger. It's their view of a world that still is coming through a filter of wanting to do good. Before you say it, Royce, yes, there is something terribly naive about that, but I'm not sure it's entirely wrong.
Certainly fair enough.
All right, Royce, thank you. I really enjoyed having this conversation with you. I hadn't thought really hard about bubbles and this idea that we sort of have one foot in two different bubbles, and that has been a great benefit to us. I think about this a little different now. I appreciate it, Royce. Thank you.
It's always a pleasure to hear how you see the world wrong, and now all of our listeners can hear it too. That's kind of you. Thank you for the sharing.
You're welcome. And listeners, thank you for coming on this journey with me.
If we want to leave you besties with an idea, take from this, your bubble that you live in is wonderful, and you make your world wonderful just by being in it. And on top of that, be comfortable with the idea that there are other experiences out there. People are living in their worlds and their bubbles, including maybe even especially people who you know strongly disagree with you. And we cannot be more encouraging of you breaking out of your bubble, embracing people who see the world differently than you do, and you will all be better people for it. It's meant a great deal to us. It can mean a great deal to you too.
Royce, completely agree. And I'll just add to that, besties, go and live in someone else's bubble for a while too. It doesn't have to be for years and years of your life. It can be for half an hour around a bar. You might have a profound experience as well. Okay, that will wrap things up for this episode. Thanks to our theme composer, Seth Weinstein.
And thank you, besties, for spending time with us today.
We know you're doing your best out there.
We can't wait to see you again soon. Like and subscribe so we can stay in touch.
You can follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, X, and Blue Sky.
Find those links, other information, and email us at www.thebestwecando.com.
For now, I'm Brett Connor.
And I'm Royce Connor.
Next time, we will try to do better. But for now, this is the best we can do. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.